SportsCenter on the Road is presented by Geico. Jeff Darlington working on his tan in Kansas City. Let's start with the weather. South Florida native Jeff Darlington, how does a Florida man put into context what you're experiencing today?
I hear you. I'm just thinking, okay? Look, I asked Patrick Mahomes for some tips on how to deal with the cold weather, and he said it's all mental, which is perhaps the worst advice I've ever been given in my life by anyone about anything, okay? Because that's not advice, Patrick, at all. That's not even helpful. Look, no, but all seriousness, look, Alan Sills, the chief medical officer for the NFL, has been in touch with both teams about the weather tonight, trying to give them tips on things that they can do to stay safe, because they're certainly not going to be able to stay warm. Both teams have been provided with extra additional gear, heated benches, because get this, guys, let me tell you what the temperature is going to be. We're going to have an actual temperature of -5 degrees around kickoff with wind gusts up to 29 miles per hour, which means it's going to feel like an ungodly -30 degrees. What are we doing, people? But anyway. Tyreek Hill says he's not going to wear sleeves because he thinks that that's going to ultimately make him look soft if he does. That's a little weird too, okay? This is not we're not trying to man up. Ooh, who's the manliest, okay? This is terrible temperatures. People, put some clothes on. This is ridiculous. Back to you.
Earlier in the season, you were in Denver, and I think the temperature was like 40. And you forgot a coat, and it was the end of times. And now Tyreek Hill is talking about no sleeves, and you're like, I'll take the extra sleeves, please. Like, you were wearing all of the layers. As for the actual...
I have that coat that I bought underneath this coat. Literally, I have that coat under this coat.
It's like those massive... It's like those massive hats, you know, like the big head hats, only he's wearing jackets on top of jackets. Okay, so the Dolphins are actually also battling injuries, and now you go to a cold weather spot, seriously, historically cold. How is the team preparing to battle that and get over that against the Chiefs?
Well, I mean, I guess you could look at the cold as potentially being an equalizer, given the fact that the Dolphins really are so beaten up when it comes to some of these injuries. We know that Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle, two offensive players who have been questionable all week. The team is optimistic that they're going to play in this game, but those guys are banged up. But the defensive side of the ball for the Dolphins is absolutely, like I said, decimated. The edge rushers have been completely injured throughout this season, to the point where they went out and signed former Chiefs veteran Justin Houston to join the squad this week. They're literally out of players. So getting pass rush on Patrick Mahomes will not be an easy task at all. The Dolphins can only hope that that weather, again, is an equalizer and that they can put up enough points on offense to potentially offset what happens with this defense.
Jeff Darlington handling multiple duties here. There's a sports report. There's a weather report. He's not wrong. Expected real temperature of -5, but it's a dry -5. Jeff Darlington, thank you, sir.
Our quarterback, Alex Smith, rejoins the program. You're very familiar with Kansas City. I mean, can't be that bad, right, Alex? It wasn't that cold, was it?
I don't think I played anything that bad, but no, I don't regret not being.
You'd much rather be here than Jeff Darlington right now,
no doubt,
with multiple jackets. All right, well, let's talk about this game plan. You're so familiar with Andy Reid and this Kansas City team that's been out of sorts really a lot of this season. What mismatches do they get to take advantage of today to try to find some semblance of the Chiefs' rhythm that we're used to seeing?
Yeah, I'm going to steal this from Jeff Darlington. He just said it. Listen, it's sub-zero temps. It's going to be blowing and windy. It's not a game to be throwing it around the yard.
Sure.
And with that, this Dolphins defense is completely beat up. Not only up front, but especially at the linebacker position. Just lost Andrew Van Ginkel, lost Jerome Baker. These Kansas City running backs this is what Kansas City needs to do to exploit that. Get the ball to them, get the run game going. You know, Travis Kelce's going to get a bunch of attention. They're going to put safeties on him. These guys are going to be matched up on those backup linebackers. This is where they can make some hay, not only in the run game, screen game as well. Look for that to be a point of emphasis tonight.
Listen, we joke and say that Isaiah Pacheco runs like he's mad. Well, he's going to be actually mad running in these frigid temperatures, because those hits, man, they got to hurt a little something extra special. You said today's not going to be the day to be airing things out, which might prove negative for the Dolphins because they have the X factor in Tyreek Hill, who's bottled up a season-low 7.8 yards per catch in that first meeting. Where must he win tonight?
I mean, the reality is that there's going to be a safety over the top of Tyreek almost all game. And when that happens, the Miami Dolphins love to attack over the middle. Think this in cut right here, these posts and slants. They love to get to the middle of the field. And that try to combat that.
Sure.
There are going to be moments, though, that Kansas City does give him one-on-ones. The Dolphins have to try to take advantage of that. They have to capitalize when that does happen. And again, they're going to be limited. Got to hit them when you get them.
Yeah, nothing to lose. And hey, in case Tua needs any refresher, just look for Tyreek Hill. He's the only guy out there who doesn't have sleeves on. Alex Smith standing by with more from Super Wildcard Weekend in just a minute.